The slow, painful death of physical media. Unfortunately, it is a topic that has really been taking off within recent times. From Best Buy no longer carrying physical movies in store, to game sections across multiple department stores clearly having low inventory compared to what they used to sell, AAA game releases such as Alan Wake 2 only having digital-only releases, among many other things. It's an unfortunate trend that can affect many collectors alike, whether you're a game collector, movie collector, music collector, or any other type of collector when it comes to physical media. In this video, I want to take a look at the slow decline of physical media, its circumstances, background, and everything else in between. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this video's topic right after the intro. Alright, so before I jump into this video's topic, I want to give a little bit of some background about myself. My name is Nate the Game Guy. I've been a game collector for a very long time and getting close to about 3,400 games in my personal game room. I have 2 complete sets, and not only do I collect video games, but I also collect movies that I enjoy watching, and I do collect music that I do enjoy listening to. When it comes to video games, I am a completionist where I try to buy as many games as possible that I don't have and try to complete as many sets as possible too. So as you can tell, I have a lot of physical media in my personal possession. So seeing the decline of physical media being a thing definitely hits home to me. Unfortunately, unless if you're living under a rock, it's pretty obvious that the entire industry, not just video games, but movie, music as well, is really wanting to hone in onto that digital only future. After all, they don't have to pay retailers, pay for the plastic casing, whatever. It's just all profit once they put it up online for sale for consumers to download. So the main thing that's worth talking about when buying physical media are the benefits. A lot of people that still buy physical media, and collectors alike, will tell you that there are a lot of benefits to still purchasing physical media when compared to buying digital only. When you purchase physical media, once you purchase said game, movie, CD, whatever, it's essentially yours forever. You're never going to have to worry about like the movie being taken down from like your streaming service. You're never going to have to worry about the license ending on your game. It is yours to own forever. And of course, if you take good care of said product, it will last a pretty long time. Of course, there is the other thing to also consider too when owning physical media, such as disc rot. This is obviously a thing that is very important to know about when it comes to collecting a lot of disc-based media, especially movies, music, games, the like. If you want to know more about disc rot, I have an entire video all about it that I will be linking somewhere for people to take a look. Of course, a really big argument when it comes to owning physical media is the preservation of games, movies, music alike, because a lot of people will want to share some of these games and movies and everything to future generations, such as their children, grandchildren, their grandchildren, and will even want to be able to sometime go down a trip on memory lane, whip out the old NES, Super Nintendo, Dreamcast, whatever their console of choice is, and be able to kick back, relax, and play some of those childhood games. It is unfortunate that a lot of these game companies are just looking for that quick buck and don't really consider, and sometimes don't even care about that the consumer still cares about some of these older titles. I have no problem whatsoever with organizations, corporations, businesses making a profit as long as it's done right, ethically, and there is some sense of decent morale involved. It seems like in this day and age, there's a new retailer that's announcing every day there's going to be some form of discontinuation when it comes to selling physical media in store, whether it's Best Buy announcing that they're no longer going to be selling physical movies, or Walmart that says that they're going to discontinue selling video games later down the line. With the changing industries of said physical media products, this is a trend that I only see to continue as time continues on. After all, in 2023, 95% of all video game sales throughout the entire year were digital sales, which is a 5% increase from 2022 when all video game sales were 90%, meaning that the demand for physical media is terrifyingly low. And of course, the pertaining industries are embracing the idea that consumers no longer own their digital products. After all, when you purchase a digital product online, you do not necessarily own said product. All it is essentially not only the thing itself, but you are also downloading the license. When you no longer have access to said license, you no longer have access to the game, which is why many physical collectors gravitate towards physical media, hence that they will never have to worry of such a scenario happening to them. While I'm sure most people are not surprised at the fact that we are transitioning into a mostly all digital future, I am surprised that we have reached this point quite later. After all, in 2013, when the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 were announced, both of these consoles required you to install games right off of the disc if you purchased a physical copy of a game. Hence, you can make the argument that the discs themselves didn't really serve much of a purpose, because after all, you would essentially be doing the exact same thing if you were to buy a digital copy. But at least you happen to own a physical copy of the game, right? But sadly, there are also other concerns when it comes to the long-term durability of physical media. After all, many people have begun speculating and have been talking about that Nintendo Switch cartridges will only last about 20 to 30 years, which is quite unfortunate, is because I am a huge fan of the Nintendo Switch, and I would hate to see some of those games that I'm already considering to be relatively classic titles to essentially just be destroyed as time goes on. It really seems that when it comes to the long-term durability of physical media, it seems like the cartridges from the 80s and the 90s from Nintendo, Sega, and all the other consoles during that time period seem to have the best long-term durability when it comes to the preservation of such media. So are there any real solutions when it comes to the overall decline of physical media and its eventual death, and eventually we all have to be at the mercy of corporations where we have a digital-only future and we absolutely own nothing and we just give them our money and they just want us to just shut up and be happy? Well, there are some solutions to a sense. Of course, it's very important to spread awareness of this topic, educate people, explain to them why exactly physical media is important and the overall situation when it comes to why digital only may not be such a good idea. It's also very important to also support preservation projects, that people that go out of their way to find ways to preserve said media when it comes to storage or trying to extend the life, or trying to figure out ways to, say like with an old game console where it's beginning to die out, and they've come up with solutions to extend the life of it so that way you can play your games continuing on, and other various ways to extend the life of your favorite media. It's very important, is because after all, we cherish the things that we love, and let's face it, sometimes it's hard to let go, even though all things must go at some point. So what will I do if we ever end up in an all digital future where there's no such thing as a newly released physical media product anymore? Well, I can truthfully say, as someone who has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to a game room and a room that I'm just surrounded by physical media with, I can say that with all honesty, it would be very rare that I would ever buy a game anymore. Granted, I will still find a game every once in a blue moon that I would want to play and buy and all that good stuff, but as someone who has an entire video game collection, I would say that over the long term, I would have not very many games for said console anymore. I don't know if it would be something like PlayStation 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever, Xbox, whatever, Nintendo, or whatever. I would still get some games for those systems, but it's not going to be very many, is because if everything's all digital and I'm not owning them anymore, I mean, to me, it would just kind of be like, what's the point? I mean, don't get me wrong, I still want to play games and all that good stuff, but like I said, I just would not end up having that many over the long term. However, I feel like there's one thing that needs to be said when it comes to this subject, is guys, don't let this ruin your day. Don't let this ruin your hobby. Yes, it does suck. Yes, it's sometimes not pleasant to hear, but here's the thing. We all gotta have something that makes us happy. I don't care if it's collecting, golf, fishing, whatever. We all gotta have some activity or hobby that brings us joy in our day. There's a thing and a difference between being concerned and being afraid, right? It's okay to be concerned about this subject, but like I said, we all got to have something that makes us happy, and don't let this scare you from, enjoying your hobby or whatever. It's important to be aware. Yes, you can be concerned, but don't be afraid. And the other thing I forgot to mention earlier is vote with your dollar. These companies, exist for making money. And if there's enough people that are buying physical media, and if you have enough people that you're informing and sometimes may change their mind about buying stuff all digital, that'll force these companies to reconsider, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to go all digital. Maybe we should offer physical media and such. Because even though I do hate this phrase because it's not always right, but in this case, I'm going to use the phrase, the customer is always right. And remember, these companies exist to provide value to the customer. So make sure these companies do provide value to you, the customer. Alright, so that'll conclude the video's topic. What did you guys think? Did you find the video to be entertaining, informative, any of that? Feel free to comment in the comment section down below. I would love to read everybody's thoughts, concerns, all that good stuff. Please do consider giving the video a like, helps boost it up into the YouTube algorithm so more viewers such as you can find videos just like this. Please do consider subscribing as well because I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, game-related subjects, all that good stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, please do consider subscribing. But if you're going to subscribe, please don't forget to hit that bell notification button so that way you will be notified when I upload a video such as this. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.